album to someone. No, I hear the delay.
Right. She said, when I send an album to someone.
Yeah, I heard that part. Go ahead, Joanne.
Do I need to do the same thing to save the photos to camera roll? And if so, then how do I send the album via photo stream?
Okay. If you're sending pictures to somebody, then you probably already, those are pictures that you took on your phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
So they're on the camera roll already on your phone. Is that correct?
No, I have not saved them yet to the camera roll.
All right, stop. As soon as you, the picture taker, take a picture, it's on your camera roll. Absolutely.
Okay.
When you click the shutter, that goes on the camera roll. Okay? Now, unless, let me pause you. Unless you use a different camera app like Camera Plus. But I don't think you're using Camera Plus, are you?
A lot of times, yes, but not in this situation.
Well, if you use Camera Plus, then Camera Plus stores those pictures in another little area, and before you close Camera Plus, you can save those pictures into your camera roll. And you've probably noticed that. So that's a different conversation. But as far as just the camera app itself on the phone, the one that's got the picture of the camera right there on the front, on my front page there, those, as soon as you click take a picture, that is in your camera roll. It's also in your photo stream, but it's in your camera roll. All right, go ahead with your question again.
So if I want to share a folder via the photo stream, I would just do it off of the photos in photo stream, not ones that are saved to camera roll.
Yes, it's kind of a, the question takes a couple of left turns. That's why it's kind of hard to answer. But let's say, for instance, Joanne, that I want to be a photo stream sharer with you. All right, and you only. You and I are going to have a private photo stream area. Now, let's say I took a picture of my dog 3 minutes ago, and I want to put that in. Well, the first thing I have to do, if I don't just want to text the picture to you, but I want an ongoing back and forth photo stream relationship with you, Joanne, I have to set up a photo stream shared folder with you first. Regardless of the picture of the dog or anything, the first thing I need to do is establish a relationship with you and me in photo stream. So I go to photos. Let's see, I'm going to go to streams, and there's the plus sign down there. It says new shared stream. So I'm going to click in that new shared stream, and now I have to send you a picture or send you an invitation. So I'm going to call this Lake, and I'm going to go next, and it's going to say, well, who in the world do you want that to go to? And I'm going to type in Joanne, and let's see if we keep on going. All right. I'm going to send it to your phone number, which I think is maybe your iCloud address, and now I create that. Now, you probably, in a moment, will get an invitation to accept a photo stream with me. Now that I've done that, I bought a symbol on the internet the other day, and I want to share that symbol with you. So I'm going to go back to my pictures, and there's my symbol that I bought. All right? And I want to share that. So what I've got to do is put that. So I'm going to go select in the top right-hand corner, select the picture, and there's the box that it came in, and there's the box when it was closed up, and I'm going to, let's see, add to, or those arrows look down there at our different options. Let me just try add to and see what happens. Ooh, I could add to my photo stream. No, I don't like that. I'm going to go the bottom left-hand corner. iCloud, this is new. I select iCloud, then it's going to say, where do we want to put that? And I see it says Lake down there. I select the Lake one, and then I put my symbol. And now remember, this is recorded. And so now, Joanne, I've just created a shared photo stream with you, and when you accept that, you're going to see a picture, or you're going to see 3 pictures of the symbol that I bought off the internet. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I've recorded all that, and that'll be up later this evening. All right? About 12 a.m. probably. I'm going to jump back over to Daryl, and then Imade will get to you in a second. Daryl, we skipped over you before. Do you have a question, Daryl?
Do you have a replacement for iGoogle that goes away at the end of this month?
Google Plus is really your only option at this point if you want to do that. But a lot of people still use the customized Yahoo page. I see a lot of people that...
That's what I did.
Yeah, a lot of
I
clients.
don't like it.
Yeah.
Does that require a Yahoo account?
I think it does. I think it does. Yeah, I don't think you can use your Gmail address with Yahoo's my Yahoo or whatever it's called.
I have, but I also have a Yahoo account. I don't like it. I feel like Daryl, I had it very simple, and now I get more information than I really want via Yahoo, even though I customized it. But I do have a Yahoo account, not an email account.
Can you customize Google Plus the same way that we did iGoogle?
Yeah.
I tried, it said it was going away, so I went to Yahoo,
Yeah, Google
which I don't like.
Google Plus is Google's attempt to get on par with Facebook. So I'm sure that there's an ability to do certain things in Google Plus, but Google Plus is designed more as a social interaction, sharing with friends, rather than what's going on in Charlotte, what's the weather like, how much wind is there going to be, which is what iGoogle was. iGoogle was more of a customized news interface and information interface. Google Plus, I think, is more of a social world that has some of that in there. But Yahoo, the My Yahoo, is still more of the customized news. It's more it leans itself more to iGoogle. All right.
Too much news.
Emma Day, what have you got for us this evening, Emma Day?
Well, I just updated to the new system and I don't understand it at all.
Okay.
But you have to use Google Chrome. It keeps saying instead of just Google, don't you want to use Google Chrome or whatever? That's what my mail site does.
Okay. So we have two parts of this conversation going on, Emma Day. You updated your iOS devices with iOS 7, right?
Yes.
Okay. The question that you're asking me is more related to a computer, though, about Google Chrome. Is that correct?
I guess because you don't have Google Chrome on the devices.
No. You can have Google Chrome. You can download Google Chrome as a browser on an iOS device. So that message that you see, the message that you're seeing in a day, do you want to use Google Chrome? Are you reading that message on your computer or are you reading that on your phone?
I read it on the computer.
Okay. All right. So what Google Chrome is asking you to do is, hey, would you like us to be the default browser? And all the browsers want to be the default browser. In other words, do you want us to be the person that you're dating right now? And the reason for that is all about money. The more searching you do on the internet, the more money is generated and passed hands. So if you use Firefox to do a search, Firefox gets a small little fraction of a penny from Google for whatever you searched about. Maybe you buy some shoes. If you use Safari, Apple gets a small little percentage of a penny for that search that you did. And Google said, why are we paying these people? Why don't we make our own browser? So Google made their own browser called Chrome, and a lot of people use it, but Google wants to be the default browser. So you're seeing a message saying, hey, why don't you let us be the browser? So what you do then, Emma Day, is you decide, you try them all. You decide which browser you like the best. I like Safari the best. It's easy for me. It's the one that I go to most often. So I made the determination, Safari, I want you to be the default browser. So if I go to an email and I click on a link, or somebody sends me an email with a link in it and I click on it, Safari will open. So the way that I did that was in Safari, and this happens with any of those browsers, I find the preferences, in this case under the word Safari, preferences. And then I say, let's see, here it is at the top, default web browser. And look at my choices here. I could make Firefox my default browser, Google Chrome my default browser, or Safari. I'm going to say, you know what? I want Safari to be my default browser. So that's something you might want to check. And if you say, hey, Safari, you be the...
I don't understand why you want to change it anyway if it's worked.
Well, remember, my opening statement on this is it all comes down to money. And they all want to be your default browser. All right? Just like I want to be the person that you use to help you with your Mac stuff. So every time I walk out the door, I say, hey, remember, we have town hall, or here's my card, or something like that, because I want to keep that relationship going. So these messages that you're seeing are the other browsers attempting to try to get into the business that maybe Safari has already earned. Does that make sense?
You can just ignore them if you want to.
Yeah. And you could even say, usually there's a little checkbox that says, do not ask again. And if you check that checkbox, then they won't ask you again until there's an update and it resets. Oftentimes, I sit down with people all the time, and I see that they're using Firefox. And I say, oh, I see you're using Firefox. Why are you using Firefox? Because I'm not as big a fan on Firefox anymore. And they say, I don't know, that's just the one that opens when I click a button. And so I go and I show them Safari or Chrome, and they go, wow, that's a lot faster. And I say, well, maybe let's make that the preference. Maybe make that the preferred browser. But ultimately, I'm not telling you, Day, which browser to use. I'm saying go check out the ones that you like. Maybe you like Firefox the best. And then
Well, this phone is a mess as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
I don't like it.
so you want to, all right, we're going to switch over to the phone conversation now. So out of the browser work now, into the phone world. I basically, when I work with people with iOS 7, I tell them a few things right off the bat. So I'm going to kind of bring these up to you just so you know. These are maybe the top 5 things that people ask me about. All right? I'm going to go through them kind of quick. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Number 1, back in the old days, and for those of you from last week, I probably said the same thing last week, so I apologize. Number 1, back in the old days of iOS 6, when we wanted to find something, we would swipe all the way to the left, and when we swiped all the way to the left, that little search bar would come up. Now, we don't swipe to the left, we swipe down. But we go from the middle of the phone, so I touch in the middle. If I touch in the middle of the phone and swipe down, there's my search field. Now, the next question I get is somebody tries that and they swipe from the very top. If they swipe from the very top, then all of a sudden, they've got this notification center. So there is a difference between swiping from the very top and swiping from the middle. All right, so you practice that. Swipe from the middle, you get the search. Swipe from the very top, you get the notification center. Now, I'm not going to go into notification center right now because 95% of us don't even use the thing. The next thing that people say to me is, Scotty, I can't see the thing. The fonts are too small. So I go into settings. Once I get into settings, I go into general. And then I'm looking for 2 things, text size and accessibility. So the first thing I do is I go into text size and I say, well, I can't see that, so I'm going to increase the size of that text a little bit. The next thing I do, I go by hitting the general button in the top left-hand corner, and now I go to accessibility. And accessibility, what has happened here is Jonathan Ive and all the guys that designed this, they said, well, we want it to look really slick and real 2050, so we're going to use this really thin Helvetica font. And the rest of us old people with glasses, we're like, we can't see the thing. What? I can't even see it now. So if you go in and you say, hey, there's a setting for bold text, if you turn that bold text on, then, and it's buried down here in accessibility, then Jonathan Ive and all the guys that designed it said, well, okay, fine. You dug down this far, you can turn on the bold, and we will make some of the text bold. So you turn that on. But when you do that, your phone has to restart. So if you turn that bold text on, it will restart. All right? So those are a few things. One more thing that people talk about or ask me is they say, how do I quit applications? In the old days, you used to double click the button on the bottom, and that would bring up this little ability for you to touch and hold, and they would sort of X, and you could cancel them all. Now, when we quit an application, we do a 2-touch at the bottom, and now I have all the applications that are running, and I want to kill them, so I swipe, and every time I swipe, that's killing an app, and that's how we swipe. And you can even take 2 fingers and swipe 2 or even 3 at a time. I think you can do 3, yeah. So you get kind of cool with it. All right. Lastly, the last thing is we talked about swiping from the very top to get notification center. We talked about swiping from the middle to get the search. But swiping from the bottom gives us control center, and this is my favorite part of iOS 7 now, because if I swipe from the bottom, I get this little shortcut to play music on my iPod, to increase or decrease the screen brightness, to turn off or turn on Bluetooth, little things like that. The flashlight, which I love to use now. So if I'm walking out in my yard and I'm looking for my dog and I've got my phone with me. Back in the old days, I would turn the brightness on and kind of do it like that. Now I just slide up, hit my flashlight, and then I can look around for my dog and touch it again because that's in Control Center. Okay? Those are some of the things that may help you a little bit with iOS 7. Those seem to be the top things that people ask about. Anybody listening want to contribute or throw something in that is also kind of confusing that they found a workaround with? No? Okay. All right. Deep breath. I'm going to take a drink. Anybody want to just ask a question? Jump in. Yes, Daryl.
Reminders, do they sync any better these days?
Well, I kind of got so gun shy with them that I don't really use them. But I haven't heard a lot of complaints. Joan, you were going to say?
They still don't print. I cannot print a simple shopping list out. That was the most important thing to me, to upgrade, and no way.
Joan, you need a job with Apple. You really do. Because you find the things, I'm serious, they could use your services. Because what Joan does is she goes through and she doesn't find just nitpicky little things. She finds things that are actually extremely applicable to common use. That makes a lot of sense to me, to be able to print.
That's
Now,
all I do is common use.
yeah, and I haven't, let's take a look. I haven't tried, but let's go into, are you talking, Joan, notes or reminders or both?
No, reminders.
Yeah.
And if you do a screenshot, it prints out about 2 inches
Yeah.
by 1 inch, and it's illegible.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
there's no point, Warner gets embarrassed going through Harris Teeter with his iPhone on. I don't, but he does. So, and he does more food shopping. So I want to just click like everything else, send it up to my printer and say, here's the list. And that was the one thing I was sure the new operating system would do.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Common sense thing.
Yeah. Nope, still it doesn't seem to be there to me.
No,
All right.
I've Googled it for weeks.
But yeah, they could really use those little things that are missed. And, to their defense, they have a lot to think about. They have a lot that they have to hit. And I've said this before because this was told to me exactly this way by the engineers when I spoke to a team of engineers several years ago. They were so envious that I actually got to talk to people that use the software, that use it. They're like, wow, you get to go every day and talk to these people and find out if they like it or if they don't. And I've told this story before. And I'm thinking, I'm envious of them because they're coding and they're like designing and driving this. And they say what they do is, when they do get responses from people or information, feedback, they take it to a whiteboard and they write it down on the whiteboard. Now they might get a lot. I know, but that you've submitted that before, and I've told you to try to submit that in the past. But they have a lot of issues that come up, a lot of issues. And printing from reminders may be something that you throw in, and maybe 100 other people, but that's nothing compared to the 10,000 that want the app to stop crashing, or the 17,000 whose iMessages are not working or not syncing, that kind of thing. So that's small potatoes, possibly.
Are reminders supposed to sync?
Yes, but remember, reminders are associated actually to calendars. So reminders are associated to a calendar, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go and look at settings, and let me go back.
Daryl, mine syncs through every one of our devices.
Well, I'll be calling you.
Reminders are now part of iCloud, if I'm not mistaken. Notes are associated to email addresses. Reminders used to be associated to a calendar, and I think reminders are now separate. So if we go into iCloud and we look at our list, one of those is see how calendars and reminders is next to each other, are next to each other. So I don't think it's extracted completely out. I will look. I've also got it. I've got a copy of Mavericks over here. Let me take a look at that real quick and see if they've broken that out yet. And Mavericks is fine. That's going to be out at the end of the month, I think, something like that. They usually release late October. The last 2 or 3 times they've released a new operating system, it's been at the last minute, the last possible second of October. I'm trying to bring that up, but I don't think they've broken out reminders in iCloud. Oh, here we go. Let me take a look real quick. And somebody else be thinking about your next question here. I'm waiting. All right. Well, let's open it up and I'll look. Anybody else got another question? You want to jump in?
I do.
All right, Joanne, take it.
I need to schedule a session with you.
I'm going to pause you for a moment one more time. Mavericks does break out reminders separately. I just saw it. So in Mavericks,
What is Mavericks?
Mavericks is 10.9 of the operating system. So you are all on 10.8. Mountain Lion, 10.9. They're no longer using cats. 10.9, they're now using interesting places in California. The first one being Mavericks, which is a big surf area. So Mavericks breaks out reminders separately. All right. So anyway, going back to you, Joanne, take it.
How can we get Mavericks?
That's probably going to be available at the end of October. So in a couple of weeks, end of October, and that'll be available through the App Store, and they have not announced pricing yet. Historically, it's been about $29, I think, as an update. So there you go.
Okay, but that's the only way to get reminders separately on separate devices?
No.
No. I don't even think you're going to notice a difference when you get to Mavericks, honestly. It's just that they've broken it out. So in other words, the engineering in Mavericks reminders might do a better job of syncing because it's not piggybacked on top of calendars like it has always been since about 10.6. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I misunderstood because I'm trying to do reminders separately on separate devices.
Okay.
Mine all sync.
Yeah, but you don't want them to sync, is that right?
Correct.
Ah,
That's okay, we can go over that, Scotty.
okay,
I need to schedule a session, but before I do,
okay.
I know this is being recorded, so rather than recommend something over something else, will you please email me with the best printer for me? You know my needs, they're pretty simple.
Okay,
And then when I will buy that, and then we'll schedule something, and I've got a lot to go over. But I need your recommendation on a printer.
okay. All right, I will send that out to you a little bit later this
Okay,
evening.
thank you.
All right.
Scotty, do you really have 10,000 emails?
I have 10,000 unanswered emails that I don't.
Oh my God.
Are you looking at my phone? Yeah,
Yes, well, you held it up.
yeah, 10,000. But hey, look at this. To my credit, in my email, check this out. In my normal business email, I've got one there. But look, if I scroll down, look how answered. I'm on top of my game right now. This is how far back. In other words, there's one that I have not answered back from Thursday, but I've been on it. Now, if you were to scroll all the way down, I just have countless ones that I get bombarded with. But sometimes, especially if I take a break and I take a week off or whatever, it piles up. I love email. Email's not a problem. It's phone calls that I just don't answer. But anyway, Emma Day, you've been quiet. What else do you have?
Yes, I need to ask. I've got a Gmail account now too, because I was trying to use Google Maps. So when I look at my box, it's got 3 emails, but 2 of them are syncing in iCloud and RR, Carolina RR. So do I just forget the Gmail thing if I can't make the Google Maps work? I've got to get you over here, but I haven't been here long enough. So
Okay.
I was just wondering if I just give it there are a lot of them in that box, and I don't know why, because I haven't used it instead of trying to get the maps.
Okay, so Emma Day, your question, and you're famous for doing this, your question is kind of taking 2 different directions here. So
Yeah.
you have a question or you have a comment related to email, and then you have a comment related to Google Maps. And actually, Emma Day, those are not really related to each other. You could use Yahoo email. You could use I could hire you tomorrow and give you a salesconsulting.com email address that has.
I'm sure that'd be a good idea.
that has no relevance as to when you use Google Maps. Are you following me so far on that?
Yeah, but my Gmail account, do I just leave it alone if that's the reason I got it in the first place? What do I do with it?
Well, let me ask you this. If you are walking in the mall and you meet me and we've been friends a long time but I don't have your email address, what email address are you going to give me? Me.com? Okay, so that's the one that you correspond with people with. That's the one that you check every day to see how people are doing and what people have sent you things. But then you also have a Roadrunner address back from the old days, right?
Yeah, but you gotta be put together or something.
Yeah, we probably forwarded that Roadrunner account into Gmail a long time. I mean, we forwarded that Roadrunner account into your me.com email address a long time ago, probably. But you also have a Gmail email address. And along with that Gmail email address, Google wants you to go into their world. Google is saying, come into our world. And with your Gmail account, you can publish YouTube videos because we own YouTube. You could sync up our calendar. You could sync your contacts through us. You could use Google Plus. You could have more accurate information in Google Maps. But you don't have to do that. You can use the maps without having a Gmail account. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you use...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I went in the Verizon store and I said I wanted to use Google Maps, they said I had to have a Gmail.
No, you do not.
So I got one, but I don't use it.
No, you do. That's
Just ignore it.
It sounds like probably yes. At this point, look, I'm going to go to Google Maps right now. And you're talking about you like using Google Maps on the phone, right?
Well, I never have figured it out, so I don't use it on the phone.
Okay.
I went back to Apple now.
Well, if you notice on iOS 7 on the front page, you'll find something interesting on my front page here. A, I've been buying a lot of stuff off of eBay lately. I've been on this eBay craze. And then B, I've got both Apple's Maps and Google Maps on the front page. And they're kind of battling it out because my job is to use things and give people feedback. So I'm using Apple Maps a lot. I'm forcing myself to use Apple Maps a lot. And it is a lot better. But that's not really the point of this conversation. Google Maps, let's say I don't have a Gmail account. I push Google Maps and there's Google Maps. And I'm going to go look for, Burger King. And it doesn't matter whether or not I have an account. It's going to find the Burger King near my house, and it's going to show me where to go, and I can get directions to it right now, and let's go right now. Boom, we're on our way. So,
But it talks to you.
yep, so listen. Starting. If I've got that on. I think I might have to get in the car and actually drive. But yeah, it would give me voice feedback and all. And I don't have to have a Google Maps account at all. I don't have to have a Gmail account. I can just use it. Now, if you had a Gmail account and you synced your contacts, then when you, Daryl, can I use you as a guinea pig here?
Sure.
All right. If I typed in Daryl in here, let me see. Now, I don't have my contacts synced. If I did, then Daryl, I believe, whose last name starts with an O, would be in this list. But I don't have my Gmail contacts synced, so Daryl's not showing up in this list. This is just picking random Daryls out of the phone book and Daryl's tree service and stuff. So I am not completely in the Google world. However, if I was in Apple's Maps and Apple knows that I'm friends with Daryl because Apple is looking at my address book, if I go in here and I type Daryl in Apple's Maps, and I see him, there he is. And I select him, and that's where he is. So then, this is the one thing I hate about this, by the way. There's like 4 or 5 buttons before you can actually get it. So there's 1, 2, 3. Hold on. I want to go, sorry. 1. Oh, there it is, directions. 2, which is too small. 3, route button. 4, start. I don't...
Starting route to Dear Laura Kid.
Yeah, so I don't like that I had to hit 4 buttons to get directions. All right?
I found it easier to get the talking on in the Apple one than the Google one.
That's what
The Google lady doesn't wanna talk to me, but the Apple lady does.
Well, let's go back because I think in Google Maps there's a button there. Let me go back into Google Maps here, and if you touch,
Probably is, and I just haven't found it.
no, where is that voice to turn on or off? Let me see. Start. Oh, bottom right hand corner. That's where it is. Bottom right hand corner. I have her voice guidance muted right now. Unmute, and there she is. So let me go back out of here and say start, and she should talk now. I think.
Head south on David Wellman Road to Ward Harrisburg Road.
There she is. All right, so I had her muted. So in case you're using Google Maps and you click the button down there, check to see if it's muted or unmuted. All right,
Okay, thank you.
that's the trick.
Thank
Okay.
One other question. If
Yeah.
you got something in Safari, like I downloaded e-bikes, and I wanna put that on my desktop, but keep it in my documents, can you do that?
You said you found something in Safari. What did you say that you found in Safari?
I downloaded e-bikes.
Okay, so is it that
Can you keep it in your documents and put it on your desktop?
Evite is more of it's a web page that
Okay.
you could save a link to go back to that page, but you don't really save out. It would be like saving out CNN.com or the NewYorkTimes.com. So Evites is a website, so you could save a link to go back to it if you wanted to, but you really don't save the website onto your desktop. And in all honesty, you actually could archive the website, but that's not what we're going to talk about tonight. That's not something I'm going to show you how to do tonight. So you see over here on my desktop, Day, I've got links. So here's a website that I've got to deal with at some point. It's called About Us. I don't even remember what it is, but that's a link that I saved. That's not really, it's not something permanent that I want to keep going back to the rest of my life. If it were, I would save the bookmark into my bookmarks area. But I just saved it over here to the desktop. Like here's my certifications that I've got to deal with Apple. So there's my link to certifications. And the way that I did that was I went to a website like evite.com. Let's see, evite.com. And I think that'll take me there. And I don't want to have to type that in each time. I just want a shortcut link to it. I would take that little left-hand globe that's right there next to it, pull and drop that onto my desktop, and now there's a shortcut to that. So the next time I just want to go right back to that website, I come over here, double-click it, and then that opens up to evite.com. Does that help you at all? I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got another question, but I'll let somebody else do.
All right, anybody want to jump ahead of Emmett Day? Joanne, you got anything? All right, Emmett Day, take it.
Oh, I got tons of stuff.
Well, in that bottom thing on your phone, I only have the phone and the mail, and it doesn't have all the ones that used to be on the bottom.
So if you only have 3, then you could touch and hold until they jiggle. Once they jiggle, then you pull down the ones that you really, really like and use a lot. So I use Google Maps quite a bit, so right now that's winning at the very bottom. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You can ask me this next week. I'm going to take Google Maps out, and I'm going to put Apple Maps down there at the bottom because I actually have been using Apple Maps a lot. And Joan, back to you. There are a lot of bugs in this software. The main bug that drives me crazy every single day is in my scheduling. I have a scheduling app, and in my scheduling app, I hate to reveal people's information here, but I go into my let's see. Here's my day. I don't think this person would mind. Select that. Now I'm trying to click on that. It then takes me to the app or to Google Maps. Shows me where the person is, but then the top button up here, open in Google Maps, doesn't work. So I click on it, it's not working. So I'm forced to use Apple Maps right now in order to be able to get to that person's house. Okay?
Just from normal people, the biggest complaint I've heard about iOS 7 is the calendar, the format of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that average people like me really don't like.
It looks
It doesn't
too...
bother me because I only print my calendar out from my one of my computers. But if you try it from the iPad, it's really ugly.
Yeah, it looks too Stanley Kubrick 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's more design, in my opinion. I think you probably agree. It's more design over functionality. It's not. It's interesting to look at these circles. Hey, wow! Look, we have circles, but it's not as functioning as it used to be, in my opinion. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in? We'll be summing this. We'll be closing this up here in a minute.
Joanne,
Yes.
I flew up to Philadelphia last night, and I sat next to a guy who was on the U.S. airplane that landed in the Hudson Bay.
Wow.
One of my clients.
I thought I could top that, but I can't. 3 days ago,
He had quite a story to tell.
I bet he did.
I have one of my clients that lives in Charlotte was on that plane, and yeah. All right.
3 days ago, Daryl, I flew in a Cessna 172 to the Bahamas.
All right.
Wow.
Very, very
And
cool.
you're back already?
Yes, it was awesome.
Are you
I have to tell
calling
you.
Daryl?
But Scotty,
Yeah, take it, Joanne. What were?
Scotty?
Yes.
my iMac is completely frozen. I tried to restart it in every way imaginable because the printer's all screwed up.
Except one. There's one way that you didn't try to start it or restart it. Is it frozen and it won't turn off, or it will not turn on?
It will turn off, but then I turn it back on and I get the same frozen page, which is the sign-in page.
Okay. You know what? Is your keyboard? Does the mouse move?
No.
Can you type your name in with a keyboard?
Actually, now that you say that, it just moved. So hold on.
I will say that oftentimes when people think their computers are frozen, the first thing I check is the keyboard and mouse actually talking? Because if the keyboard and mouse are not talking,
They weren't.
Yeah,
But
in other
they
words,
are now.
good. Okay, are you able to log in? You might want to. Yeah, you might want to change the batteries on the keyboard and mouse. It's probably not frozen. That's a very strange place for your computer to freeze. If the computer actually was having problems, more likely something's going on with your mouse and keyboard, and it feels like it's frozen, but the batteries are dead, possibly. All right.
Okay.
Well, guys, I'm gonna.
And Daryl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have my email and can you send me some info on that experience?
I can, Joanne. Right now, I'm in the middle of Obamacare, and it's driving me crazy.
Oh, Lord.
All right, we're not gonna get started with that. All right, nobody. This is a non-political.
I got a question.
All right,
Anytime,
Question.
Daryl.
Emma Day, what's your question, Emma Day? And then I'm gonna. This is the last
I
thing.
got a printer because somebody talked me into it. It's a long story, but it's an HP. I think it's 7520.
That's a good printer. I like that printer.
Is it a good one?
Yeah, I like that printer. That's
That's
very close to the printer I'm going to recommend to Joanne, actually.
Well, I'm so glad to know that because I won't even start.
Yeah, the HPs anywhere from the 5000 to the 7000 series currently are my printer of choice at the moment. So yeah, does it say PhotoSmart on it or does it say OfficeJet on it? Can you look at it?
PhotoSmart.
Yeah, that's a good printer.
PhotoSmart.
That's very close to what I'm going to tell Joanne to go out and get.
Okay, well, Scott, if you're comfortable saying it, tell me and I'll go get it.
Yeah, there's basically two worlds of thought here. Now, Daryl runs more of his business, so he might be in need of a fax line. I don't think that you're in need of a fax line at all. So somebody like Daryl
Yes.
might. You do need a fax line?
Yes,
You actually fax.
yes, and I have a fax line.
What is it with you people and faxes? Do y'all?
Scotty, there's insurance companies out there that's the only way they'll receive some documents because they think it's more secure.
It's insane. It's insane. Do they hire people to stand outside and guard for dinosaurs attacking as well?
No, the fax servers that they have read who it comes from and who it comes from and who it goes to, and routes it into their computer.
Well,
You have to make it private.
I'll say this. Anyone in the modern technology age would be laughing if they heard that right now. So that's just. But anyway, to
Is
go
that
back.
because-
Go ahead.
Is that because you upload it, you do something and then send it?
It's the same thing. It's going through the same pipe. Yeah, it's going through the exact same pipe. There's nothing different about the fax line pipe versus the internet pipe. It's all the same thing.
Okay.
But
So
go ahead.
Should I keep my separate fax number?
Yeah, if you want a fax, yeah, keep it. You already have a separate fax number?
Yes, but I'm talking about, would that affect what printer you recommend?
No. But now that we've talked about that, if you are like, yeah, I've got to have a fax, then the OfficeJet series is probably the better way to go. Because the PhotoSmart series, the one that Imade has, that doesn't have fax capability. But
Yes, it does.
oh, it
It
does.
does. This
PhotoSmart?
one does, but it took me about 6 hours to figure that out.
Okay.
Because the way I got this printer was trouble with the other one, and I was talking to someone in the Philippines, obviously,
Okay.
who just gave up on me after that long, and I said, I'm just sending it back, I can't make it back. But it was because I didn't make it load on my computer issues, the printers.
Okay.
He made me do it all on the printer, but when I put it in the printers on my computer, it did.
Okay.
And it let me use my home number.
Yeah. And you can. You certainly don't have to have a fax line if you don't want. Well,
But it let me do it. It put me through an awful lot. But I still don't know any more about it than that.
well, Imade, we're not going to
That's fact.
We're not going to give up on you here. We'll keep plugging away, and you keep bringing those questions, just like everybody else. I'm going to get out of here now. All right, guys. Thank you. We will see you again.
You didn't tell us the printer number.
7520 is this one.
Yeah, anything in that 7,000 range, OfficeJet or PhotoSmart. The 7,000 range printers are really good. It's got a really nice big display on it. That's I can't remember which one. There's one of them in that series. I have to look it up, but there's one of them in that series that the number 1 on the LCD display is very hard to push, but all the rest of the numbers are easy. It's really weird.
Scotty, I have a C410 in the office.
That's the predecessor to the 5,000 through 7,000 line. They used to market them as 300 and 400s. So the 410 tells me that's about a 2-year-old printer, maybe something like that. And yeah, and now they don't. I don't think they market them as the 300s and the 400s. It's now the 6,000s and the 7,000s. That's just how they do
This
it.
thing has,
Do you know whether they fixed the duplex scanning or not?
No idea. I don't. That's not a feature that I use very well at all. So I haven't encountered that.
this has all kinds of things on it, pictures on it you can use.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. All right, we will see you guys,
Thank you.
and I will post this. Bye.
Thank you, Betty.
Bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this